Good day, everyone, and welcome to the world of the International Fabtalks. We are connected with different kinds of people across the globe for a very good reason. To bond, to network, to understand how people have lived their lives and how they are able to overcome all the challenges that they have faced and are facing still. We believe in uniting for the right cause. My dear friends, especially the mothers and parents, let's take it as parents, especially parents when they are connected to their children. There's a great bonding between their child and the parents. You have to put it right, like when you have a child in your hand, that's a day of joy, holding your child very close to you, nurturing the child, giving it the right values. But there are certain instances where we feel that life is unfair. We've faced difficult challenges as parents. Many of you as parents would have faced a lot of challenges in your own personal lives. Today, we have a wonderful guest who's agreed to share her challenge that she's been facing. Let's dive deep into her life journey. So, ma'am, welcome to the wonderful session called as the International Fab Talks. We are honored and privileged to have you share your journey with us, and we'd love to have you inspire us in the right way. Welcome to the International Fab Talks.
Thank you. Thank you, Andrea, for having me. I hope my story and my journey will be of some help or some support to parents or to people who may be going through bereavement or may have gone through bereavement in their life.
Yes. Thank you, ma'am, for accepting the invitation. And thank you for being bold enough to come over and share all of this. It really requires courage. And you're doing something great. You're going to empower many of the other people out there. Thank you so much. With your permission, I go ahead and share your profile and we begin the session.
Sure.
Thank you, dear.
Please go ahead.
Thank you. Friends, as you know, we share the profiles of our celebrities and guests for you to get to know as to who our celebrity is and how she could inspire you in the right way. We have with us, as I earlier mentioned, Ms.Sudha Kuruvada. She's here with us. She's an instructional designer, learning design specialist, connected also with Karnataka classical music. She's a wonderful mentor, and she belongs to the lovely city called as Hyderabad, that is located in Telangana, India. And she's been 13 years into this professional zone, creating learning material, not only for corporate clients, but also for various schools and colleges. It could be life skills, corporate communication, new joinee training, managerial skills, AI, Internet of Things, system security, financial analysis, sales and marketing, etc. And with regard to academics, it could be like computer science, math, English, and so on. She is born into a beautiful family where Carnatic classical music is given importance and several musicians belong to her family background. No wonder she has that in her genes that is giving importance to Carnatic music. She herself is well versed in Carnatic music and she is a trained a musician to say that under 3 gurus. And she's been teaching various students in the US and India as well for the past 6 years. Above all, my dear friends, she is a great mother, a mother who has withstood the test of time. Like we all mothers do face our difficult phases as a mother, but here is a unique story of how she's overcome the challenge of losing somebody very close to her heart. A part of her heart has left her, but still she is there in this universe for better reasons. Let's get to know her journey and celebrate her life here today on the International Family Talks. Dear ma'am, we are so happy to have you here, taking out time for us and sharing your space. That's really nice. We'd love to know who is the real Sudha. How would you define yourself today for all of us, especially the parents, in particular the mothers?
As mothers, we all have our own journeys. There are challenges, there are joys, and we keep learning each day new things from our children. We evolve, we get mature, we learn so many things, countless. As a mother, what I have gone through, I wish no other mother would in this universe. Um, I mean, some things, some incidents leave such an impact in your life, on your emotions, on your personality, that they change you, they evolve you as a human being. So I have also evolved, of course, as a human being and as a mother, as a friend, as an empathist, I should say, now I can understand people better. I can show, I mean, I can experience what they are going through, and I can show empathy in much better ways. So that is me for you.
Yes, dear. That's really nice. You evolved from one space to the next higher level to
Yes,
understand, to
absolutely.
empathize with people around you. That's really nice. Now, ma'am, we'd like to ask you, what was that incident that has really changed your life and you were really not able to cope with the loss? How did this happen? When did this happen? Over to you.
Yeah. So we'll have to go back to 18 years. So in 2006, I had my first child, and she was a daughter. We were extremely, elated and so blessed to have a daughter as the first child. And we did not want to have any more kids because she herself was so evolved. I used to learn so many things from her every day, because though she was only four, I mean, she stayed with me for only 4 years, but in those 4 years, right from the time she started talking, she started communicating, she showed her maturity in many, many ways. I haven't seen a child like her who was so emotionally evolved, I should say, so spiritually evolved. I mean, there were many instances when I used to feel small in front of her. I used to tell her that, keep your toys away when your friends are here. They'll spoil them, they'll break them. Then she would say, no, Mama, it's okay. They're also kids like me. Let them play with it. I don't mind if they break. And when we used to go out for shopping, I used to show her things, and I used to ask her, "Do you want me to buy this for you?" She used to say, "No, no, I've got these toys. I've got these clothes, similar ones. Why do you want to buy so many? I don't need them." Have you seen a child saying, "No, I don't want toys. I don't want clothes. I've got enough of them"? And she used to see, we are staunch believers of Shirdi Sai Baba. So she used to say, "I can see Baba here. He's sitting there, right in front of me. I want to feed him. Give me something, I want to feed him." And she used to tell me after waking up from her sleep that, "I just saw Baba in my dream. We both played cricket. He came to our house and you fed both of us." So these were the conversations she used to have with me. And I felt so blessed that I had a child who was already so spiritually evolved. And I was learning so many things from her. And one fine day, when we were moving from one city to another, we were traveling by our car and it was late night. It was almost 7 o'clock. I mean, it was 7 by the time we started, but it was around 9:30, around 9:30, when we decided that we'll stop for dinner in a few minutes, probably less than 15 minutes. And then it was my husband's friend who was driving the car, and my husband was in the front seat. And he said, I want to rest for a while. I'll come back. So all the while, for those 2.5 hours, she was sitting right beside me. And that just for a matter of 10 minutes, she went to the front seat, and she was too little, and we thought the seatbelt is not necessary because we'll be anyway stopping in 10 minutes. And you will not believe it, it all happened like a drama that in those 10 minutes, me and my husband, we went into deep sleep, and his friend who was driving, he also fell asleep, and he pushed the accelerator, and he went and hit a truck that had already collided with something else on the road, and with such a great impact that my daughter, who was there in the front seat, she could not even react to the situation. She was hit so hard that she slipped into coma instantly. And I should say that was a saving grace, because she did not experience any pain and we did not see her in pain. So she slipped into coma instantly, and we also were woken up because of that jolt. We went and hit. My husband was lying down, he was sleeping in the back seat, and I was sitting, and I went and hit so hard to the front seat that I was there was a few glass pieces that got shattered from the window, and they poked me into, they hit me into my head and all those things. And it injured me too, and I had severe blood loss, all that, but that didn't matter. I could not feel any pain because all my energy, my focus was on my daughter. I did not even realize that those glass pieces had given me a head injury. And I was slipping into unconsciousness and coming back into consciousness, and that was happening constantly till the time we reached the hospital, probably for the next 2.5, 3 hours. But I didn't realize, because we were somewhere midway in between two cities. we had to come back all the way to Hyderabad. So that took us again those 2.5 hours of journey. We came back in the ambulance, and it was a big deal to find an ambulance in those days. It was in 2010. The highways were not, I mean, there was no highway at all. It was like a normal road which didn't even have a divider. You'll not believe it. That's one of the most highly populated highways of the country, and it was in such a bad shape that we needed more than 3 hours to reach back. I mean, to find an ambulance was a big feat. And then we just got into the police jeep and then went to the nearby government hospital, where there were no doctors, no facilities at that hour. It was at almost 10:30 p.m. in the night. So it was difficult to find the doctors, even if there were facilities. Then we took another ambulance and we came back all the way to Hyderabad. And by the time she was already into deep coma, and the doctors came and examined first her, and then they put her in the pediatric ICU. And then I was there. They shifted me to a room and they put sutures on my injury, on my head injury, and all that. And still, in that state of shock when that incident happened, and we left everything in the car. We did not have even our mobile phones on hand. We did not have anything, no money, nothing. But somehow we managed to came back. And by the time we reached the hospital, we had informed our parents and some of our friends, and all of them had gathered there to show their support, that we are there with you. And that emotional support really meant a lot to us at that time. But in that state of shock, we were even really not able to understand what was happening, what really happened. And then she was in that state for 4 days in coma. And then the doctors gave up and her body gave up too. So this is a sum up of the incident that happened on that night, and those 4 days that were so very stressful and difficult uh, to go through, because I was also in the hospital in one of the rooms and she was in the ICU, and I used to keep going to her, seeing and coming back, and going to the doctors back and forth and asking them, is there any improvement? What is happening? What can we expect? And the doctors on the day one itself, they had given up. They said there are highly no chances, unlikely that she will survive. Even if she survives, she's going to be like a vegetable. And that was something that I needed some time for that news to digest. Then probably I think after 3 days, on the third day, there was a very good friend of mine who was with me. Her name is Shri, and she was there with me through the night. She told me that she has seen one child in her own family who has gone through this because of an accident. And the child is now around 20 years or so, who is just leading a life of a vegetable. And then that shook me up. Then at that point of time, I said, no, God, I do not want my daughter to be in such a state. If she's going to lead a happy life, a complete life, let her survive. Otherwise, you take the best decision. So that, for me to come to terms to that, it took me a while. It took me 3 days. And then comes the real challenge. After the doctors gave up, and after she was declared that she's no more, that is totally another challenge that I had to face.
Yes, dear. It was very traumatic to hear it as well, right? It's difficult. Now, ma'am, you were yourself injured, right? During that.
Yes.
Yes. Now, when you were in the other room and your daughter in the ICU, so what was going on in your mind? Like how was that experience? If you can just elaborate a little more, like, and share. Ma'am, we'd like to know what were your thoughts when you were separated from your lovely daughter. She was in the ICU and you were in another room. You were also very, sick. You were injured in that accident. Like, what was going on in your mind? What were you praying for? Like, because even you were not well, and at the same time, your daughter was struggling in the ICU.
Yeah. So initially, initially I was under the impression, no, this is not true. It's just an accident. I'm sure she'll be fine. She'll come out of it. She's only unconscious for a while. She'll be fine by tomorrow. Then, this happened at night, as I told you. The next morning, when I went and saw her in the ICU, that was when I understood the gravity of the situation. Till then, you keep telling yourself that, no, it's fine, it's fine. They did not allow me to see her till the next morning. Then by the next morning, because she had internal head injury and she had bled very badly internally, so they had to shave her hair and her head was all swollen. It was not absolutely not a good sight to see at all. You you could never ever imagine your child in that situation, because as parents we look forward to our children growing up each day, and we have so many dreams for them, and that you can never ever imagine your child in that way. When I saw her in the ICU in that condition with all those things connected to her body, then I realized that no, what I have been imagining, what I've been telling myself is not true. I don't think she's going to be normal again. That's when the situation hit me hard. The reality hit me hard. Then I did not share my thoughts with anyone. I absolutely did not share my thoughts. I did not tell anyone what was going on in my mind. There were hundreds of thoughts. One thought tells me that she'll be fine, she'll get up, she'll come. Another thought tells me that no, look at what a state she's in. She's not going to get up again. What am I supposed to do? How can I help her? Because a child looks up first to its mother for any help. I'm of no help to her. I can't do anything in this situation. So there were so many passing thoughts. At the same time, I was in a blank state of mind. I didn't know what to react, what to say. And I was not even thinking about myself, about the injury, in fact, I had 14 sutures on my forehead. But I did not feel any pain. Even when I was bleeding, you'll not believe it. My whole dress was drenched with blood, with the blood that came from my head. Because my husband was lying down, as I told you, his head was wet with the blood that was flowing down. I did not realize that I bled so much. So, maybe our mind works that way, that whatever is our focus on at that point of time, we are only thinking about that. Everything else becomes secondary, especially when it is related to your child.
Yes, dear. Yes, dear. I get that, ma'am. Now, ma'am, I'm unable to even go ahead with asking you the next question. But nevertheless, we have to face reality, and you've been facing reality very bravely as a mother, as a human being. Now, dear, what I'd like to ask you is, like, how did your family and friends react to it? When did you all inform your family members? What was the response of the people who knew that little child?
Yeah. In fact, you'll not believe it. There were so many people, so many friends of mine who had only seen her in pictures, not even met her in person. And people who had seen her for once or even seen her in pictures couldn't come to terms with the reality. They all were so shocked, and they all were going through the trauma with me. And I had my family throughout. As I told you, by the time we reached back to the hospital to Hyderabad, my whole family was there, and they were with me for those 4 days. My brother, who was in Bangalore, and my sister, who was in Chennai, they had come over, and many of our close friends, they worked so hard for us. They went around to so many doctors, taking, in fact, I hadn't met a few of them before that incident. They came voluntarily to our help, and they went around so many doctors, so many hospitals with those reports, that we could get help from somewhere. Somebody would give us some ray of hope. I should mention my brother-in-law. that is my sister-in-law's husband. He was there by the time we reached Hyderabad. He was there in his car waiting for us to receive the ambulance and take us, clear the way, take us quickly to the hospital. And he was there throughout 4 days. It was raining so heavily those 4 days, and he did not mind going around throughout. So many, he met so many doctors. And I mean, everybody, the situation was very clear to doctors because they have seen so many these tragic accidents. But when it comes to our own family, it's difficult to accept the reality. So they were with us. Our, as I told you, some friends who I hadn't seen at all. Some of my husband's friends and my friends who were all over the world. They kept pouring in their messages and they kept calling me. But of course, I did not respond to calls. But they kept showing their support in many ways.
Yes, dear. That's good to know that they were all standing with you. You were not alone at that time. But nevertheless, even you have the whole world with you, but when you don't have the child in your hand, it is like a big loss. Nevertheless, your friends and family members stood by you. Now, ma'am, after everything was over, you lost your child. When you found yourself alone at home, and then the reality strikes you that my child is no more. Neither in the hospital. I could just stand and look at her in the ICU. She's not at all visible anywhere. So how did you deal with that situation? That journey. How were you able to face that?
Yeah, as I told you, that was when the real challenge began. When I lost my child and when we took her back home and everything, all the rites were done, everything was done. And then suddenly there's such a big void. That's such a big void in your life. She being the only child to me. I did not know what to do. I suddenly felt, you know, that gap in the life, that nobody can fill. The joy that a child brings in is so much that place that she takes in your heart, nobody else can take. She or he, the child that takes in your life, in your heart, that's such a big place that you give, right? So that void was there, and as I told you, because of so many thoughts in my mind, I did not accept the truth that she was no more. I did not accept the reality. I used to feel that no, she is with me. She is with me. She's around somewhere. She's not left me. How can she leave me and go? She's so little. She cannot live without me. So I refused to accept that she is gone. And I held on to her so tightly for the next 3 years. For the first 3 months, I did not break down. I did not cry. I did not let my emotions go out in the form of tears. I did not break down at all. And I did not know that it was affecting me in so many ways. I never realized that. After 3 months, I started crying, but I did not cry in front of anyone. I did not show that I was missing her or I was feeling sad or I was feeling depressed. I did not show those emotions to anyone at all. And my friends did not want to come up to me with the discussion because they did not want to rake up all those things that were buried. So they did not call me, or they did not. Of course, there were a few friends, very close ones, who used to talk to me on a very regular basis. But apart from them, probably one or two, not more. Apart from them, I did not talk to anyone at all, not even my family. And immediately after this incident, within 3 weeks, because of these high stress levels, my father had a heart attack, and he had to undergo an open heart surgery and a bypass surgery. And my father-in-law also fell ill. So all these things, you know, you feel more responsible towards your elders in the family, and you don't want to burden them with your sorrow. So I kept everything to myself. I did not open up to anyone. And it went on for 3 years. And at the end of those 3 years, somebody made me realize that you are still in depression. Otherwise, I wouldn't have known. And after this incident, as I told you, after all these, after my father came out of the surgery, came home, and he was managing on his own. And when all these things fell into place, then I started looking out for answers. Why did this happen to me? You are in a state of trauma as well as depression, right? As psychiatry defines depression, it's a state of sadness for more than 2 weeks. If a person is in that same state of sadness for more than 2 weeks, then it's called depression. But I didn't know at that point of time that I was in depression. I was just going on with my life, with my emotions. I was working full time. I was with my parents because I had to take care of my parents. They were alone. My dad was unwell. And my husband was in another city because he had got promoted and we were moving to that city. So he was somewhere else, I was here. And it was all very chaotic in my mind and physically too. Because I was deliberately draining myself at my workplace because I didn't want to give myself any time to stay idle. I used to go in the morning at 8:30 or 9 a.m. and then come back home at 9 p.m. I used to work for 12 hours because I wanted to keep myself busy. Otherwise, even a single moment of free time I would get, I would feel that void again. So this state of depression, I seek the help of many people. I went to many therapists. I did not take therapy, but I wanted to find answers in some way or the other. I got a lot of tarot sessions done. I got a session of past life regression done to know answers that why me? Why did I have to go through all this? Why did I have to lose my child? This is one question that we rarely find an answer. Of course, you will find it in due course of time, but at that point of time, whatever anyone tells you, you're not willing to take that answer because that's not a satisfactory one. You don't feel, oh, okay, this is the reason why it happened to me. No, you would never accept that. So I went to many spiritually elevated people. As in our country, we have our horoscopes. So I went to one person who's very famous and who predicts very well with the horoscope. I went to him and I showed him all the three horoscopes of me, my husband, and my daughter. He was not willing to look at the horoscope of my daughter. He said, no, 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 people who are no more, I'll not look into it. Then I told him, I need to know an answer. You have to tell me why this happened. Is it because of me? Because we held ourselves responsible for what happened. Me and my husband, we felt guilty because you think of so many alternate situations after the incident has happened that maybe we shouldn't have traveled by the car with a friend who came up last minute and offered to take us. We had no plans of going along with him. So as I told you, it all came up like a drama, like a pre-written drama. He came up last minute and he took us along with him. And then just 10 minutes before the accident, when my daughter was safely sitting with me behind, she went to the front seat. Otherwise, if either me or my husband would have been there, we wouldn't have survived that night. It would have been a spot on death. And you know, these things, we were not supposed to travel on that day. All these things, you start feeling guilty. You start feeling you hold yourself responsible that maybe I shouldn't have done it this way. Maybe things would have been different if I would have not done it this way. So all these things, then finally, what everybody told me, which I did not accept, was that it is all, people come together in a lifetime for a reason. Only if you have something with them, you all are born together as a group of souls. And then because your daughter was not destined to live beyond 4 or 6 years, and because you and your husband were destined to lose a daughter, so you all came up together. Whatever you would have done, even if you would have not stepped out of your home also, that incident would have happened. So don't hold yourself responsible for whatever has happened, is what everybody kept telling me. but it took me very long to accept that. It took me 3 long years. In fact, after I had my next child, even then I was in depression. So it took me a while, it took me a lot of time. And maybe because I held on to those emotions so tightly, I held on to my daughter so tightly. I did not let her go. I did not let her, I did not want to share my grief with anyone. I failed to recognize that I was in depression. Maybe I should have taken therapy, or I should have thought about myself too in that situation. Or maybe everything else had taken so many turns around me, my people, my elders in the family getting sick and all, and I could not think about myself at that time. So there were so many things. Probably, in such situations, friends or family who are close have to realize that this is not a situation that somebody comes across. We all have seen our elders passing away in our family, but losing a child is something that is not so common, and we do not know how to react in the situation. So maybe people around me, or they should have realized that she's not coming out with her emotions. She needs an outlet. Maybe if I would have gone to someone, opened up, and talked about my emotions, maybe the depression would have been ended in a year or a couple of years. But it took longer for me because I was not willing to let go. I was not willing to let go of the emotions, of the emotional connect I had with my daughter. Even now, I feel the connect. Even now, I feel the same emotions, but sans the grief, sans the depression. Because I know that she was destined to be with me for only 4 years, and I was blessed to have such a child. I was blessed to have have interacted with her for those 4 years. She came to me for a reason. Maybe we had some past life karma to be equated. She came to me, she gave me the joy of a first child. And now she's in a much better place. She's watching over us, she's watching over our family, my children. Now I have 3 sons. After her, I had a child in I I went through this incident in 2010, and in 2012 I had my first boy. After him, I had 2 twin boys. So now I have 3 boys in my family, and they're extremely boisterous, and they keep me occupied on my toes all the time. And it's a joy to watch them grow. And I do see some streaks of my daughter in all of them. And I get that bliss and joy when I look at them.
Yes, dear. Thank you, ma'am, for sharing that. Thank you so much. You've been brave enough to share everything with us so well. And you've said that you've been able to overcome, that depression and that phase. And now you're much stronger. You've evolved and you've come out as a strong mother. Now you're a mother of 3 sons. That's really great. Ma'am, with your permission, I'd like to share a few photos of your daughter and your family with our audience today. Would you oblige to allow me to do that, please?
Sure. Please do that.
Thank you, dear. My dear friends, I'd like to take you into ma'am's world. I'd like you to get to know about her daughter, how beautiful she was when she was a little kid and she was in the arms of her mom. Join us, friends, to have a view of her daughter today, because it's a special day and it's her daughter's birthday as well. That is August 1st. So we'd love to know more about this angel, her name, and more about how ma'am was able to interact with her lovely child. Over to you, ma'am.
So this is my daughter, Sai Suditi. She was born on August 1st, 2006, and it's her 18th birthday today. So it's really amazing that the universe has conspired for this interview to happen on her birthday. And thanks to you, Andrea, for letting me, relive the emotional connect with her.
We thank you, ma'am, for sharing her with us today, because she's a lovely angel and she's filled with innocence and peace. Yes, dear.
This is a picture that we clicked in Shirdi We used to have an annual pilgrimage to Shirdi, and this was in one of those occasions. So this was her first photo shoot, and I really cherish these pictures that I clicked at that time.
Yes, yeah. There's a lot of love in her eyes, the happiness, the naughtiness, and everything you could see there. That's
True.
beautiful, ma'am.
And this is at one of the parks near our home, which we used to frequent with her, and she used to love to visit that place.
Yes.
And this is on her first birthday in 2007. You can see the joy in my eyes.
Very true. That's really nice. And like she's waving out very happily to everyone.
Yeah, she used to love the attention that everybody gave her, like the way all girls do. And this, I used to love her to dress up in different forms. This was one of such occasions where I dressed her like Krishna. I brought that costume and all for her. And I took her to a photo studio and we got this clicked. And another occasion, I dressed her like a goddess. And though that picture is not here now. So I used to do so many, I mean, made sure she participated in all those fancy dress competitions in her school. She studied only till nursery. So she was 3.5 when the incident happened.
Yes, dear.
But she used to love to go to school. There was not a single day that she said, I don't want to go. In fact, on Sundays also, she used to say, I want to go to school. Why is it a holiday today? She used to love her teachers and her friends, interacting with people. She was totally a people's person.
Yes, that's really nice, ma'am. Thank you so much for sharing about her life journey when she was with you. Yes, dear.
This was one of the occasions when I think it was my birthday. We had been to a restaurant and we got this clicked.
And
She was around 3 years of age.
Oh, yes, dear. And she's very happy to be close to you. You can see the smile and the pride on her face being very close.
Absolutely.
Yes, dear. Today, my dear friends, it is Sai Suditi's birthday. She's 18 today, right?
Yes.
18 years. She completes 18 years. It's August 1st today, and we celebrate her birthday today. And we'd love all of you to respect the children in your family, to give them the importance that you need to give to your children. And ma'am, over to you. Would you like to speak something?
So I would like to thank my family, my friends who have shown their concern and support to me in those tough times, especially to Ramu Anaya and my sisters-in-law, my family, my elders, my parents who were there with me at that point of time. But both my parents are no more now. My in-laws, my husband, my friends, and so many people who I didn't even know who came rushing to the hospital to offer help, to let us know that they are there for us. So I really wish that everyone has people around them when they are in need. And I also wish that nobody ever goes through such an incident in their life. I really wish all the parents, and their children, they have a safe and healthy life.
Yes, dear. Thank you for that, ma'am. Thank you for sharing the positivity towards the end. In spite of the great loss, you're still very positive and wish good for everyone. That's really nice. May her soul rest in peace is all that I could say today on her birthday. She's definitely watching us from above and blessing us in the right way.
Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you, ma'am. So friends, this is Sai Suditi when she was,
4
at
years
that
old.
very young, 4 years. That's really nice. You could see the innocence in her eyes. You could see her like with those beautiful eyes looking up, like, were you standing there in front of her, if I'm not mistaken?
Yes, I think I have clicked this picture because I love to click pictures, and even now, even to this day, I love to click pictures of all my family, my kids, my nephews, my nieces. So they know that if I am around, if their aunt is around, then they're going to have a gala time getting pictures clicked with me. By me, I should say.
Yes, they really give us beautiful memories when we have these beautiful pictures. So, my
Absolutely.
dear friends, you could treasure all the beautiful pictures that you take with your family. Yes, ma'am. Now here's a beautiful, happy family. Now it is Sudha ma'am with her 3 sons. Ma'am, over to you. Would you like to share something about this wonderful picture which we've been able to collect?
Yeah,
And this great.
this was at my recent trip to Bangalore, and we usually go to Bangalore as many of my relatives are there, and my kids are also studying in a school based out of Bangalore. So we really look forward to those annual summer trips that we make, and you can see how happy they are. And I love to travel solo with my children, and I go around to different places, Bangalore, Mysore, and all around. Recently we had been to Pune too. So yeah, they're growing up. My elder one is 12, and my younger boys, who are twins, are 9.5.
Yes, that's really nice to see the smile back on your face. That's really nice, dear.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for being here with us, dear. Thank you so much. My dear friends, we had a wonderful time with ma'am, getting to know her journey. She was kind enough to share something that happened to her and her family. That requires guts, grace, courage, and all of that. And she's a brave mother today on the International Fab Talks. Now, ma'am, there are several mothers out there, parents, you could say. Let's not be biased, like only focusing on the mother now. There are parents out there who might have had traumatic incidents like this in their lives as well. Now, if I may ask you, have you been taking counseling sessions for other parents, or have you given it a thought that I be a source of courage to others? Maybe I could counsel other parents who have gone through this. Because you've been through that journey, you have evolved as a better human being. You thank the Lord that at least He has given you those 4 wonderful years with your daughter. Now, are you
Yes.
able to even counsel others and, maybe give a speech to others, mentor others in the right way?
As I told you, we rarely come across such incidents, Andrea. So, in my circle, I haven't come across any other friend or relative who has gone through this. But definitely, I would love to be of help to anyone. So, that is the reason I have done this interview today. As I told you earlier, I was very deeply emotionally connected to this incident, and I was not in a composed state of mind to either advise or help anybody. But now I am in a state that I hope that anybody who comes across this interview sees what I have gone through may benefit out of it and may find some ray of hope that that this is also a phase and this too shall pass. But I know it is not difficult. It's very difficult. It's not easier. It's easier said than done. We all have our own ways to cope with grief. It's not easy to just go about it, and you it's easier for people who see you from a distance, but when you are going through that, it's only you who know what is going on in your mind, and only somebody who has gone through such a situation can understand what are the emotions that are going on. So it's not easy, but time, as we all know, is the best healer. So after a point of time, and that point of time can vary from person to person. Some people may need a year, some people may need 3, some people may need 5. But if you decide to help yourself, or if somebody in your family, in your vicinity, realizes that you need help, so offer them that help. If you realize that somebody is going through a tough time, it may not be a loss of a dear one, it could be anything else. So just be more empathetic, because we don't know what is happening in the background, what is happening in their mind, what are situations they have gone through. So let us all be more empathetic towards each other and try to help and support.
Yes, dear, that's well answered, ma'am. To be empathetic and to understand that this too shall pass. And because finally, one fine day, we are all going to meet each other in heaven. right? We all are going to leave this world and meet our loved ones who have left us. Now, dear ma'am, what did you visualize for your young daughter when she was with you, when she was born? What were your dreams? Like, what would she become? What you intended her to become at a later stage, like when she become an adult? Or what type of a career choice and all? You might have
No,
been
no.
thinking of it.
No, no, absolutely not, Andrea. Probably I thought that she would do something in music because I myself, as I told you, all my family is into music. So I thought she would, she used to love to sing and she used to love to listen to songs. And even without me teaching her anything, she would pick up and she would sing with all the lyrics in place. I never even realized how she would learn those songs. Whatever songs she used to like, she used to ask me to play them and she used to start singing along with it. So I knew that she would definitely do something in music. And you will not believe it, when she was on her third birthday, we bought a keyboard for her, a musical keyboard. Though she never played it, my children now are playing it. So as I told you, that music streak, we are blessed to have it. So my boys are also into music now. So I definitely thought she would have done something in music, but I did not think about any career choice, nor am I thinking about it now for my kids. So let time decide.
Yes. Now, ma'am, would you like to dedicate a song for your daughter today on her birthday?
Don't know, haven't thought of it. uh,
What is the first song that
Maybe
comes to
yeah.
your mind?
I think of a song which is in Telugu, which was, the composer was Ilayaraja, and it's from the movie Anjali. So it's a beautiful song about a little girl who could not live beyond 3 years or so. So whenever I see that song, it brings back a lot of memories to me.
Would you like to sing it for us?
Yeah, sure,
A line or two? I mean, dedicated to your daughter.
sure. అంజలి 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 చిలికే నవ్వుల పువ్వుల జాబిలి అంజలి 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 మెరిసే పున్నమి వెన్నెల జాబిలి అమ్మమ్మ బంగారువే అందాల చిన్నారివే అమ్మమ్మ బంగారువే అందాల చిన్నారివే ముద్దుల చిట్టి తల్లి నవ్వుల పాలవెల్లి చల్లని చూపుల నా తల్లి వన్నెలు విరిసే నా సిరిమల్లి చుక్కల పందిరి నీ ముచ్చటలే ఆమని శోభలు నీ మురిపాలే అంజలి 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 చిలికే నవ్వుల పువ్వుల జాబిలి అంజలి 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 మెరిసే పున్నమి వెన్నెల జాబిలి.
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am, for singing that. Thank you very much. That's a wonderful song. You've done justice to that song. And I'm sure that will really touch the hearts of many people. Now, dear, if at all your daughter was alive today, that is Sai Sudhiti, how would you celebrate her 18th birthday?
The next year that she passed away, as I told you, she would have turned 4 on August 1st, 2010, and we lost her in the month of June. So the birthday that came immediately after the incident, we went to an orphanage and we distributed a few goodies and books and things that the children needed on her name. So it's good that you came up with this question, Andrea, because I do not share about this to anyone, but I have got a great support system from my friends who are living abroad and even in India too. My school friends, my post graduation friends, all these people, they are my backbone. And on every birthday of hers, I sponsor. In fact, I do it in June, the month that I lost her. That's the start of an academic year. So I try to sponsor the education of a few children. And whenever I get to know about any medical emergency of a child who's in need, who are not very well, financially, who are not very well to do. So luckily, I don't know how the connect happens, but God brings up those, connects me to those people. And from the past 10 years or even more, I have been into this. Though I have not set up any NGO or an organization, but all my friends trust me that I will ensure that it goes to the right cause, to the right people. And I personally go to the hospital and pay the bills directly. I do not give the cash or the money, I don't transfer it to anyone. I go to the hospitals and I go to speak to the doctors, find out the condition, then do whatever we can from our end. And we have supported the education of many children, not only girl children, other boys too. So we have been trying to do, and I'm lucky to have, as I told you, many friends and relatives who support me in this cause.
That's really nice to know, ma'am. It's very empowering. That's really nice. Now, dear, you've been a mother to a wonderful daughter, and now you're the mother of 3 sons. Do you find any difference in bringing up a daughter and your sons?
As as many parents would agree with me, a daughter and a son are quite different in, in their upbringing. You may notice that daughters are usually more communicative than boys, than sons. Usually that happens. It may be other ways too. But what I see, what I have understood from my experience is that my daughter was extremely communicative, extremely observant of things that were going around and going on around her. And she was extremely empathetic. If I would be a little sad, she would come to me and ask me, "What's sad? What's wrong? Are you all right?" If there is a small argument going on, she would come and say, "No, no, no, please reduce the volume. You can't be talking to my mother like that." She used to, she used to, fight for me. And of course, I see that in my boys too. But as I told you, daughters are more communicative, more caring, and more affectionate. They're more observant too. So yeah, that's it.
Yes, dear. Thank you, ma'am, for sharing your opinion on that question. Thank you so much. Now, dear, what is the message you'd love to give to all the parents? Parents who have faced the same kind of trauma, or parents who could face such a trauma. You never know. Life is unpredictable for every one of us. So what's the message you'd love to give to all the parents and to the children as well?
Yeah. See, when everything is going on well around us, we do not ever even think that something may go wrong. But please be vigilant with your children. Please be careful. Children are too young to even evaluate a situation. I see so many parents who are negligent, who think it's okay, and they become a little callous. Don't do that. I see so many young boys who just 13 or so, 12 or 13, driving bikes. Don't be so negligent. We just don't know what could happen any moment. Just be careful. Be extremely careful. First, think about what could go wrong. What is the risk that is involved when you are doing something? When you are giving your child the keys of a bike, you're telling your child who's not even 15, who doesn't even have a license, you tell him, go to the shop round the corner and get something. No, it's not safe. You must have seen recently at a few places that children who are taking, riding their bicycles also are encountering such tragic incidents just inside their apartment complex, when somebody just rammed from the parking lot and went over a boy. So just be extra careful. Be around with your children and be around not only physically but emotionally too. The biggest challenge that we see today is the emotional disconnect between parents and children, because parents are so engrossed, so busy with their own life. I know both parents are working, it's a lot to do, but do take out some quality time with your kids and please stay safe.
Yes, dear. Thank you for that beautiful suggestion for all the parents. And of course, even the youngsters also should be obedient and listen to their parents. and have a beautiful time at home. Enjoy the days that you have with your children. But one fine day they will grow big, they will get their wings and they will fly away.
Exactly.
Any tragedy might strike. We never know. So let's always be having that family
Yeah,
time, live in the present
Andrea,
and enjoy.
there is one thing I would like to share. When you have got little children who are growing, when they start thinking and analyzing things, when they are, say, around 8 or 9 years old and older, when you're interacting with them, when you're busy, don't tell them, oh, don't bother me, I'm busy, don't talk to me now. Don't don't say it out so coldly to them. Be a little more softer and say, listen, dear, I'm occupied with something right now. Can you just give me 5 minutes? I'll come back to you. So, whatever you are setting an example today is what your child is going to be 15 or 20 years later to you. When you are an elderly person, when you are a senior citizen, and when you need your child's time, he should not be telling you that, don't bother me, mama, don't bother me, papa, I'm busy now. You definitely won't want to listen to those words from your child. So, don't do that to them today. Talk to them nicely. Tell them if you're busy that, listen, I've got this thing to do. I'm in the middle of something. Give me an hour. I'll come back to you. So that is what I consciously do with my children. And having three boys, I, from the time they have started understanding situations, things around them, I keep telling them that what what you want others to do to you, first you give it to them. And never ever think that a girl is lesser than you. I have never told them that don't cry like a girl. That is something, that is one statement that has to be banned from Indian households. You should never say that don't cry. Are you a girl? Why are you scared? Are you a girl? Why are you crying? Why are we labeling that girls can cry, girls can feel weak, but boys can't? When my boys are feeling low or when they're crying, I tell them it's okay, cry for a while, then you'll be fine. So this is one message we have to tell everyone, all especially the boys, that it's okay. It's okay to feel weak, it's okay to cry, and never ever compare a girl to a boy. So I don't know, I'm covering too many things, Andrea. I'm going tangentially into so many things.
It's really nice, ma'am, to have you share your thoughts and views. That's really great. Yes, dear ma'am, now I have a question for you. If given a chance to adopt a child, a girl child, as you already have three sons now, if you have ever thought of, like, maybe I could adopt a child, a daughter, and give her the privileges that she doesn't have, maybe a child who has lost her parents, or a parents who can't afford a child, or maybe just have a child adopted, a female child. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, sometimes I do think about that, Andrea, but as my children are still young, probably someday later in my life, I would love to do that. As I told you, I have that emotional connect still with my daughter. So having a daughter at home would be a real blessing. Probably someday I would like to do that.
Yes, yeah, that's really nice, ma'am. And any daughter in the world to have a mother like you would really be lucky and blessed to have a mother like you.
That's really sweet of you to say that.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing your time today. We look forward to many more interactions with you in the near future as well. You've been a wonderful person, a great human being. You've been sharing everything so clearly that I could really see that mental picture. I could create that visual picture in my mind, the way you were in the hospital, your child was in the hospital, and you explained that all so well. We really wish you all the best and many, many happy moments with your children at present. And we'd love many people to draw inspiration from you, how to overcome the challenges, how to let go, and how to wish good for everyone around us.
Thank you so much, Andrea. It was great interacting with you. And thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Most welcome, ma'am. Thank you so much. We, in fact, have to thank you for taking out some time and being here with us to share and to make us understand that life goes on no matter what. We should be strong and complete our task given by the Almighty and then leave this world.
Thank you.
Thank you. My dear friends, with this, we come to an end to the International Fact Talks for today. I'm sure you will derive a lot of inspiration from today's session. And if you like what the International Fact Talk team is doing, connecting with the right kind of people, as we've just had with us, Sudha ma'am, who shared her journey with us, we'd like you to be also open, come out, share your journey as well, such that we could inspire one another. If you like what the International Fab Talk team is doing, stay connected, like, comment, subscribe, and share to the International Fab Talks. Above all, respect family time, love your children, and give back as much as you can in a positive way to one and all. With this, we'd like to sign off. Stay blessed. Thank you, dear.
Thank you.